Shout out to the Filipino Kai Soto fans who are tuning into this right now. This guy is coming deep. The Filipino fans are rolling hard with Kai Soto, who has been their guy. He's on the Summer League roster, and we have two-way contracts to give. Jonathan Savetta jokes on Twitter, the engagement numbers whenever a team tweets about Kai Soto, and he has a post about Wilt Chamberlain's absurd numbers. This is a game from March 18th, 1968. Wilt's line was 53 points, 32 rebounds, 14 assists, 24 blocks, and 11 steals. That's the type of numbers that a Kai Soto post is putting up. And by the way, the post was just this: Orlando Magic Kai Soto photo. That's it. That's Kai Soto photo and a picture of Kai Soto. And it's got 250 million views.
Okay. I mean, this is good. It's funny. But can we just take just a half second to talk about Wilt Chamberlain?
All right, I'll put him back up.
Those violent, almost pornographic numbers that he has put up on this date, that is crazy. That is even beyond your video game wildest dreams. That's hard to recreate. And sometimes I wonder, was Wilt that great, or were all the other players that shit? Because if this guy's already got 20 blocks, guess who I'm not throwing up a shot around? Right. Wilt Chamberlain. What are you guys doing? How does this even occur in a universe? Was he that much ahead of his time that he went back in time to dominate? I don't know. But it's a great point about the Kai Soto interaction. I'm super surprised I didn't see you pull up a little Philippines flag to wave it around.
If I had it,
and get these people on board with our show. I did look it up to find out where it was. It was where I thought it was. So geography, number one. I don't know. I haven't seen him play yet. I'm looking forward to seeing if he's got the goods. I say right now, a sight unseen, gotta put him in Lakeland just for
Osceola, Pich.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Osceola. You got to put him there just for this, right? Just to get the looks and the whatever. So if we were going to take a chance on one social media guy to blow up, we were like, well, we know what Bowles got. Let's bring in the Kai Soto, and he'll replace all the highlights and the pub we were getting from the outside world. So I think he's going to fill that bowl hole. What say you?
I mean, from a publicity and marketing standpoint, it's a no-brainer. This guy is coming with a whole country behind him, and wouldn't it be a great story to be the first natural-born Filipino player to make the NBA? I know Jordan Clarkson has, I believe, one Filipino parent, but he was not born in the Philippines. This would be, I believe, the first Filipino-born player, and please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. He's got a shot, man. I mean, we have the only spots we have are two-way contracts this year. So he could definitely get one of those and be traveling with the team and maybe earn some minutes. I mean, we have a very small summer league roster for as much as Jeff Weltman likes to have these extremely long, oversized players for their position. I think he's the only guy over 6'10", maybe the one other guy from the Harvard Center. He might be 6'11" or something, but we only have 2 listed centers on this roster. And where do we have the least depth? At the center position. I've neglected to mention earlier that we did re-sign. We picked up Goga's player option. So right now our depth at center is Wendell Carter Jr. starting, Goga Batadze as the backup, Moritz Wagner as your kind of flex third big. He can play the 4, he can play the 5 depending on the night. But it's been well documented. Love Wendell Carter Jr. to death, but the man plays 65 games a year. Just a reminder, there's 82 in the NBA season. Then, Goga slides into your starter role, and hey, who's the backup? In those times when Wendell's cornea has been scratched. It could be Kai Soto.
I don't love an Orlando Magic fan complaining that a player plays only 65 games a year, considering the most recent past. So I think he should ease up on that stance. I think I think people are making a bigger deal out of it than it is, and they're underselling Goga. I'm a big Goga fan. I'm a Goga stan, as you like to say.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to surprise some people as one of our, solid inside bigs. And I've also always loved the game of Moritz. He is kind of more of a stretch four to me.
Right.
He does have the ability to kind of bang inside and be a body. But, yeah, I guess that is a spot where most people think we have a bigger hole than we actually do. But it's because you don't understand how good Goga can be.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you, Pich. I love Goga too. I think people are definitely undervaluing him in our community. I think he's a really solid backup big. And, if Wendell gets nicked up and needs a game, I'm fine with Goga in the starting lineup. He was big on the offensive boards, and the biggest indicator of a rebounder is what you do on the offensive boards. Anybody can hang out and go hard and grab some defensive rebounds. Somebody's got to get the ball, right? We saw Russell Westbrook rebound chase for seasons to get his triple-double, whatever. Defensive rebounds do not mean anything to me as much as offensive boards, and Goga crashes the offensive board. So I like that, but back to the Kai Sotto thing, he played in the NBL, the Australian Basketball League, for a couple of years. He most recently played in Japan with the Hiroshima Dragonflies. He averaged 9.5 points, 6.4 boards, 1.4 blocks, and 1.4 assists in Japan. And, the waving of Bol that we just spoke about does open the door to, hey, we need another big. We need a big somewhere. And it very well could be Kai Sotto. He's, again, one of the 2 centers on our team in Summer League. Now, that doesn't mean a lot necessarily, because we know we signed Kevon Harris last year, and I believe he played with another team for Summer League. So it's an audition for everybody. Just because he's on our Summer League team doesn't mean we'll necessarily snatch him up. But I do think there's a reason that he decided, and maybe his agent helped him in deciding, hey, let's play on the Magic Summer League team, because there is a pathway here for him. And I don't know much about the guy. I was watching some highlights to kind of look at his game, and he brings, Pish, I think you're going to like him a little bit more than you might know, because he's not afraid to bang down low. He sets a really nice screen. He's not that Mo Bamba indecisive screen, and he's not that Bol can't really even set a screen, period. He sets really nice screens. He rolls to the rack hard. He's a big body, of course. Not 230 is not a lot for a 7'2" guy, but he's not afraid to take contact. The Australian League is pretty contact heavy, so he's not afraid to bang around and get some boards. I think he may be able to fill a need for the Magic and bring something to the team. Now, the other thing to think about, Pish, is, and I'm curious, what would you do in this young man's situation? He's going to make more. He could make more money in Japan than he could on a 2-way contract or on a G League contract. Maybe not on a 2-way. I have to look into that, but certainly a G League contract. His dream, of course, like all ballers, is to be in the NBA. If he's offered a G League contract, not a 2-way, a G League contract, you think he takes it, or would he go back to make more money, continue to play in the international game? What would you do in that situation?
Well, it depends on whether I wanted to live my dream or make the more money right away. I think for most guys, if their dream is to play in the NBA, you got to play over here. I'm never really impressed when I hear all these European leagues to Australia. I mean, European leagues are at least usually a little better, but you hear about Australian leagues and China leagues, and it's like, I'm not impressed by numbers you're putting up over there. That's like the Wilt Chamberlain numbers, but like not in the best league in the country. So come over here and play in like the G League if you want to get a feel for what it's going to be like, because the G League's really good. Those are all the guys that are like just not quite good enough to be in the NBA for the most part. I mean, there's a few stars that go play overseas, but if you really want to work on your game and get to that NBA level, come play right here. It used to be called the D League for the developmental league, and then they changed it to G because they thought D sounded weird, and Gatorade sponsored it, so they sold it out. But regardless, it's a developmental league for a reason. So go there and play well, and if you play well there, guess what? You're right there. You're literally an hour away from coming up then playing with the Magic. So if that's the handy's dealt, I don't know. But I mean, if you're really poor and you need the money or something like that, you got family living out in the street, maybe you go play a season overseas just to get some cash in the bank. it's kind of up to, I don't know his personal life. I don't know what he does at home.
No, that's a valid point. And maybe some other fans, maybe there's some Filipino fans watching this now that can give us a little bit more context. There are some people, you got to make a decision for your family. So we'll see. I'm not sure exactly. I think he would probably try to pursue it. He was offered to play on the G League Ignite team in 2020. That's how highly people thought of him. Because, when you get an invitation to that G League Ignite team, those are guys that are going to be going in the first round. Those are like first round type talents. So he was invited to do that. But then, of course, COVID hit and he decided then to go to Australia because they got their shit together quickest out there. And we're still playing sports, I think, the fastest. So I think that's why he went in that path. But he's got the talent. He's had belief. He's been invited to the G League Ignite. He's been invited to work out with other teams. He didn't get drafted in 2021 or 2022, and then didn't enter the draft this year. So we'll see. It's his path. It's a unique path, but maybe the Magic have found a diamond in the rough, and Kai Sotto could be a piece of this team moving forward. Who knows?